Well, thank you so much for being here. We're launching this women's coaching and consulting corporate roundtable. And so I so appreciate you being here live. Susan Younger, you are amazing. You just keep showing up for everything. And Daniela, so glad you're here. And I know, as I mentioned, we had 61 ladies who confirmed reservation, and we know that you're in the audience, and we know you're also watching our replay. So we're excited. We know this is an important topic. So thank you for showing up. And isn't it always literally half of success in life is just showing up and then standing up and speaking up and being out there, sharing our gifts, sharing our talents, our point of view, what we have to give in this world. And that's really the reasoning behind this roundtable. And so just wanted to let you know, I'm so excited to do this and launch. I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of C-Suite Network's Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. And I decided that we really need a roundtable for corporate coaching and consulting. So again, this is going to be the forming of a new roundtable once a month, high return on time and investment. And I know this firsthand is that I have been a corporate coach, good golly, for 22 years. I think now I've got an anniversary coming up. And so I have worked as a corporate coach and consultant for some of the largest corporations, the most prestigious corporations and associations in the United States and globally. And I need to add to this because there are multiple pages with logos of the companies that I've worked with. And I'm not bragging, I'm just sharing that I understand, even to this day, I still maintain my corporate coaching and consulting business because I want to know firsthand what is happening in the corporate world. And a big, reader to all things business, the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, Fortune, all of the news feeds. And so I love being up on what's happening in the corporate world, because what happens in corporate, what happens in the business world affects all of us, with our economy, with our, the zeitgeist, what's happening in the world, and of course, how it impacts our coaching and consulting business. So, and selling and working in corporations, it's different. And so part of our roundtable is providing you with the keys in an interactive group setting to unlock the corporate coaching and consulting code, because there is a code to get in and we're going to unlock it. So giving you the keys on how to do that. And we know the opportunity is real. Corporations are not going anywhere. And we know that corporations, there are a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities, and corporations, associations, organizations, we're not going to get into the details of the structure of corporations because there are small, medium, and large businesses in the United States and globally. We don't need to get into the details. We've gotten into that in other programs, but their staffing cannot supporting their employees in a new way post-COVID. They can't do it. They don't have the bandwidth. So they're looking for experts, partners, guides, mentors, coaches, consultants, people who have expert experience, passion, commitment, training, alliances, relationships to be able to support them with their employees. And of course, with the new return to work initiatives that are all over the news these days, corporations are having an incredibly hard time getting employees to come back to the workplace post-COVID. They need coaches that can help lure those employees back. And to help employees too, what I'm noticing, and I want to talk more about in a moment about what you're noticing, is that transition from work from home to working back in the office. It is a bigger transition than I think anyone ever thought. And so especially for women too, we're noticing this. So for us as coaches to be able to help people with that transition, it's a business opportunity like we have never, ever seen. So I just want to assure you, you're in the right place at the right time with the right women learning about the right thing. So there is an opportunity that's phenomenal. And of course, if you pick up your news feed, you pick up your newspaper, you watch TV, anything, you with your associations you belong to, you know that it is real. And it is especially real, the workplace challenges when it comes to women. Women are dealing with working from home, challenges balancing with everything at home. But then this new added element of going back to work is very challenging. I was reading a news feed this morning, and a woman posted on a news feed from Fortune magazine. She was saying, so you're telling me you want me to add 2 more hours to my day and add to my commute and add to more things I have to do to come back to work when my productivity will probably decrease? No, thank you. So I think that that is also contributing to more and more women saying, hey, I want to get out of this corporate environment. So corporations need us to help employees stick and stay. Okay. So lots of opportunities. Business coaching statistics, as you know, are sky high. Business coaching is incredibly lucrative. It's incredibly valuable, inspirational, important work that we're doing. And of course, as you know, if you take a look on LinkedIn, if you do a global search, before the pandemic, there were about 2 million people on LinkedIn that had in their description or their title the word coach. Now, post-pandemic, there are about 6 million coaches on LinkedIn. So I think, that's an opportunity. I think that it's with 8 billion people on the planet, we have a lot of people to coach up, but I think that there's an opportunity here like none other. And so the question here for our council really is how, with 6 million people on LinkedIn and probably more that say they're coaches, but they didn't identify as that, how do you stand out? How do you differentiate yourself in the marketplace? Because if a company is interviewing or thinking about adding coaches to support their employees, they do a Google search on LinkedIn, they're going to be overwhelmed with the number of coaches that are on there. So my concern is, how do you, as a Roundtable member, how do you stand out? So I just want to pause for a moment, get the conversation going about your point of view. Is what are your thoughts about what's happening in the economy, what's happening in the workplace, what's happening with coaches? What do you think is happening? And then we're going to talk a little bit about how our Roundtable can support you. So I want to stop the sharing, get your point of view in here. Susan, what are you seeing from your point of view in Dallas, Texas? You have a global business, but yeah, what are you seeing?
Well, I see people really being excited about being able to get together and network about business, which is totally different than going to the office every day.
Yes.
And the other piece of it is people who have been working from home have, when they start to have to commute again, really recognize how much of that time they took for granted in a commute is totally different when you haven't been doing it. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I have to get dressed completely.
Yes, exactly.
Not just Zoom present, but
right.
Completely dressed. Clothes I didn't even stop to think about that have disintegrated hanging in a closet. Traffic and how much more the traffic seems than it used to seem, because I was almost hypnotized by my drive previously, and now it is a new experience. You start to then go, yes, this is adding time to my day that previously I didn't have to account for the last couple of years. And it really makes them realize what is the price for going to work. And I think the other part of it is, am I feeling that I'm stepping back, or am I stepping forward? Has what I've been doing for the last couple of years really been recognized, or is it just, it's assumed that I'm just exactly where I was 2 years ago? How are businesses really looking at their staff to analyze what have they maybe done that has moved them forward from where they were, in a way you have in no way recognized because you're unaware of what they have done to create betterment for themselves as an individual, to improve skills that they have maybe done as a side learning, any of those aspects that make them an individual that has a competency in your business that you may not even recognize that they achieve for themselves on their own.
Right. And so many great points. And by the way, welcome, Dr. Diana. So glad you're here. we're launching our corporate roundtable, and so delighted. Thank you. Hi. Yes, we're talking about in our launch, what is happening in the corporate workplace and how can we as coaches and consultants and experts and trusted advisors really serve employees in the corporation and ultimately serve the organization as well. So, Susan, you were really sharing some important points. My goodness. And you know the difference, Susan, the difference between networking and, just showing up kind of thing, the power of community, really, isn't it?
It's powerful.
And belonging.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Diana, what are you seeing? And Daniela, feel free to jump in. What are you seeing is happening in the corporate workplace? And of course, the question always is how can we, as coaches and consultants, provide the aspirin, the medicine, so to speak, the prescription for helping? Yeah. And you're muted, dear. Yeah. And we want to hear you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sadly, I see so many things in the corporate workplace, and many of which may have existed when I was in the corporate workplace versus when I've been outside looking in the corporate workplace. I will say today, my real concern is there's a lack to what you just mentioned, and Susan was talking about: community, collaboration, team esprit, because we're not seen. Maybe we are on a Zoom, but it's not face to face. We're not going to the water fountain. We're not gossiping. Maybe we are, I don't know, but we learn a lot through those little tidbits of information. So I fear, as someone who has a background in organizational behavior, organizational change, as well as coaching, I see the difficulty of corporations to create a culture, a hard and fast culture. It's easier to form a collaborative culture within a business unit, but even within business units, it's difficult because folks are not coming to the office. We have some who may and some who not. I have a dear friend I went to school with who's a very senior executive. He works for a non-US firm, which in and of itself may have difficulty because of the country of where the firm is located and the management style of this entity. He is being harassed by his senior executive, and he's a senior executive. He's also having a very hard time recruiting people to come into the company because folks don't want to come into the company. They don't want to be seen. They want to be on a Zoom or do their work at home in the quiet of the home. So I just find that corporate esprit, potentially branding, collaboration culture is eroding, and it's very sad.
Yes, yes.
That is interesting. I would like to comment on it a little bit because I think that the post-pandemic culture that organizations nurtured and fostered actually has to change. Yeah. As Susan was nicely saying that before, employees evolved. Organizations have to accept that. And I feel I have over 25 years of corporate myself, despite the coaching, but I feel it just has been such a fast pace of change that organizations fall way behind the growth of their employees. And I kind of feel that there is no problem with work from home. There is a problem with trust. There is a problem of engagement. And I think we as coaches can actually we actually probably even have a responsibility to build this bridge. between the organizations and employees. And kind apology, I mean, I can pop up on the camera, I'm sick, so trying not to sneeze and everybody to see me sneezing around as a first
Bless you.
impression. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
When our kids are small, we tend to bring them viruses, then later it turns around, so they bring to us. So that's why I kind of keep, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Incredible points, incredible points. And I really do believe that coaches and consultants, we're the helpers who can help these organizations make this transition. And it's a tough transition, isn't it? Especially with what I'm noticing, I'm noticing is, and I'm not so big on, I'll just say it, is in many organizations, what I'm noticing is it's a masculine model. Again, this is not man-hating. No. It's a very strong-armed kind of message that you have to come back to the office. And I don't think this is appealing to a lot of people, and specifically with women that have got, young children, so I think even more women, we're at risk for even more women dropping out of the workforce, which is not good.
No, I think that you're very, very correct in this, that there is this masculine message. It's almost like now the market is an employer market. We will make you come back because you don't have a choice. It's almost, it feels that way. And
Yes, it does.
we probably, I see everybody in this room has a lot of experience. We've seen that crisis in 2008 and helpless people trying to find jobs and accepting all kinds of conditions. But we also seen what happened with some industries which didn't respond the right way to the pandemic and kind of laid off people. Then after the pandemic, they struggle deeply to recover. They struggle with engagement, they struggle with commitment. And I feel that those masculine decisions based on not properly communicated strategies probably will hit organizations back. I hope I'm not correct.
Yes. So Susan, in just a second, we're gonna go probably till the hour. And I know we're all a little zoomed out, aren't we? And this is also what our colleagues in corporate are dealing with, so yes. So we'll go to the we'll be going to the quarter of the hour. And again, when really we're flexible here, right? We're flexible. Yes. Yeah. My goal is that this is an enriching conversation and that you all know about what could be some next steps here for us to take as a community, because we're growing. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Susan, you're going to jump in.
What I find myself thinking when I hear this from everybody is that all this technology is changing rapidly, and various components of AI and, systems that have been evolved are creating change within the business. However, they aren't looking at how do they define the jobs of the people that work there. And they're asking them to come back and be in the same position that they were 3 to 4 years ago that isn't the same position anymore. They also aren't looking at how the management and leadership positions need to alter in order to work with that. They need support on how they function with it, because they're going through the same stresses as the people in other positions below them. It's not just at one level, it's all through the company. And I think there are times that the company almost has to look at restructuring every job description, because everything that is changing requires that sometimes what it used to took you X amount of time to do, with the use of certain metrics and information that now come to us, you can shorten that. So you may not need as much time, but you need somebody to technically support you from a different direction. We may not have those people in place. We may not have them trained, or we may find that if we actually worked with the staff we had, we could find out some of them have the skills and the desire to do the things that we're not thinking about wanting to do. However, we haven't done enough of an exploration of who has what skills. We may not need to hire new. We may just need to restructure what's inside a group and help them to recognize what each person brings as a unique skill base and a unique mindset to work with it.
Completely true. Completely true. And the other thing that also stands out for me too is an understanding of the economics of this back to work. And this is just one of the many things. And my intention with our roundtable is to bring up on a monthly basis, what are the topics, what are the things that we're hearing in our experience, and then to give us some insight and inspiration, and what are the offers that we can bring to our clients to generate deeper engagement with our clients, more expansion of our services, if that's what we want, our thought leadership, of course, but to be able to expand our businesses and our relationships through the use, through participating and being part of our roundtable here, that we have thoughtful conversation and new ideas for opportunities and the inspiration to take action. And so that's my goal. And the other curious thing that I'm always thinking about is what's the motivation to, work from home is one topic. I think we all know that, being in a physical connection with other people, the touch, so to speak, the relationships. I mean, all those things are extremely positive. And at the same time, I wonder if how much of the work come back to work initiative is driven also by economics as well. There are a lot of buildings. I just read a feed on the Wall Street Journal this morning. There are so many commercial businesses that are sitting vacant with the furniture, with the desks, with the offices. They're just sitting vacant, and corporations are feeling the pain of that expense on the books. So I just wonder, I think that it's something to consider, is this is top of mind for them, the economics of having people not be in a corporate office, but yet they're still paying for that space.
It's funny you bring that up, because last Friday I was at a business meeting where the topic was a combination of back to work and real estate. And they had somebody that is managing a large new building complex, and they are having more people want that space because it creates that feeling of community, and I'm going back to something better than I left. So there are businesses that would rather give up their old space and take a new space at a higher dollar, but maybe a smaller square footage, in order to maximize what they can give their employees as a feeling of, we can build community, we can feel like you're getting something special to work in, not an ugly old building to work in. Then one of my clients, because I still do architectural work, he services the taking product out of those spaces that have been decommissioned, repurposing it to make it like new, so that when a company is creating space and wanting to have the community of working together, that they can buy product that isn't brand new at an affordable price. And so he's working with different leasing agents and setting up what we would call a plug and play, so that somebody who is looking to rent a space can go in and go, oh, I can now see how I could put my team in this space and make it work. The disadvantage for some of those is because they are the older buildings, they may not have the amenities that somebody's looking for otherwise. However, if a team that is going to work in that feels supported in all the other ways, a lot of times they're not as concerned if at least it has a fresh update. And I think it's been fun for me to see how much of that is happening, that I still have a fair amount of business show up to work on office spaces and service that side of the business as well.
I love what you're saying, but I also wanted to add into this couple of thoughts. One is economically, there is no way that this is not connected. Yes, if you remember in New York City, for example, when pandemic hit, Midtown was like completely dead. And that's because actually the whole economy is built on people who are going to work. All the restaurants, all the bars, all the event centers, or the hairdressers, all of these businesses depended on people being there. But I also think that pushing people to imperatively go back is also not the right thing, because, as I said before, things are changing. maybe organizations have to think a little bit out of the box on the way they structure their operations. Maybe it's not anymore one head office. Maybe there are small offices, satellite offices spread around where people can just go and connect. And it shouldn't be imperative, but they should organize something that will make people go. And it's not necessarily let's go for a beer. Well, probably people will not drive an hour and a half for a beer. Find something which will make them engaged, So this is just change of mindset, change of the culture, and change of economics, as you said.
Brilliant, Daniela. Thank you. And you too, Susan. So I think that in our brief time together today, I'm just hearing that we really can be change agents and catalysts to guide and help and partner with our clients to change the mindset, as you said, Daniela, think of new ways to repurpose existing systems and structures, and really be the partner to help with change, belonging, community, benefits, focus. I mean, all of these things, just a whole team and culture play, which is really great. I mean, I'm renewed after our time together with new ideas. So I hope you too, hope you will too. So let me finish up with a couple just final slides, and then just would love to hear kind of some big picture, your takeaways as well. And then, we'll talk about next steps as well. So really great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I think the answer to the question is, with 6 million coaches on LinkedIn, for instance, how do we stand out? Well, what I'm getting is, hey, I think I need to demonstrate different kinds of thinking with innovative ideas, collaboration, curiosity, right? Always is great. And asking great questions to be in service. And I think that could be helpful. That kind of mindset could be very helpful to our corporate clients, among other things. So with that, our roundtable is going to be once a month, and it's really going to be a subset of our Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, which we help to showcase you, highlight you, and promote you as a expert coach and consultant. So we have our C-Suite Network Council. This is going to be the roundtable will be specifically for corporate coaches and consultants. And so my goal here is to create opportunities for networking and connection and community, thoughtful discussions, specialized programs, things about, difficulties with corporate contracts or dealing with difficult corporate clients. We'll generate the topics, and as a member of our roundtable and a member of C-Suite Network, you can present those topics to us, which my goal is to elevate your thought leadership as always. And of course, we're going to be setting up a referral program for corporations to come and hire you from our council to be able to provide a referral service, so that you'll have special badging, you'll have special accreditation as being part of our roundtable. And we really believe this roundtable is going to be evolving into a council as well within C-Suite Network, which just means, meeting twice a month instead of once a month, having a higher visibility, but we wanted to just get it going with a roundtable. I also am very excited about having special corporate speakers, guest corporate speakers. I am planning to bring in my clients and thought leaders within all kinds of different divisions and departments and areas within corporations. So bringing in CEOs to talk about how they're changing their culture using coaches, HR, how we can be a better partner to HR to help them in these change initiatives, sales and marketing, how coaches can help in there, technology, fintech, all kinds of things. So bringing in actual clients to tell us, what do they look for in coaches? What do they not want us to be doing? What can we start, stop, continue as corporate coaches? Kind of an insider view on how to be a successful corporate coaching consultant. And of course, special badges and designations. And I think this is just really the start of something very, very, very exciting. And I'm thrilled. I'm finding hard to sleep at night because I'm so excited. So couple questions, and we can talk about this at another program, just to be thinking about, what are your top questions on how do you unlock the corporate coaching code? That's really what I call this. And what do you find are your biggest challenges in succeeding and expanding your thought leadership in your business and your profitability, of course, in corporate coaching. So we'll be talking about those two things coming up very soon. And of course, as we complete our time, we'll be going out and doing a survey and love your feedback on what is it that you want in a roundtable. What are you looking for? What is the support? What is the sisterhood? What is the partnership? Because our roundtable is really for women coaches and consultants specializing in corporate. We love the guys. It's not a gender thing in regard to, not allowing folks. We'd welcome men into our council as well, or anyone in between, doesn't matter. But we know the needs of a woman coach and consultant are different than guys. We've got other considerations that we're going to be talking about. Okay. So I will be taking action. Hope that today's roundtable inspires you to take some action too. And so, and just want to also mention, we've got other programs. Our Saturday morning Women's Success Circle is awesome every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're now on our 67th consecutive Saturday. This Saturday's topic is all about transition. Really excited about that. And as we complete, we know in our roundtable as well as our council that the real secret to success is being powerful together. So just curious, what are your takeaways? Because we want to, with our roundtable and our council, promote you, showcase you, and highlight you, give you a platform to rise and shine. And I'm just wondering, what are your takeaways? Feel free also to schedule a one-on-one with me on Calendly. We can talk about your business, your practice. What is it that you're doing and where do you want to be? But as I stop sharing, just curious, I hope this was a good investment of 35 minutes of your day. I'm just curious what your biggest takeaway is, and maybe an action item if you feel so compelled.
So I love being in community with others where some of the same things are coming up, and then other points of view add additional little tweaks. They go, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Or, oh yes, there are people to commune together to try and create a bigger message that becomes easier to share. Because when we are in, that narrow focus, sometimes it's hard to get out of our own way to move forward. And I can even just say yesterday, I went to an event and it was a great event, a small event, but the conversation with a couple of people afterwards was where some of the juiciest things came out, because something that may have been said at a presentation triggered a discussion from us in a new way to talk about something that two of us were doing that we found could really come together, and that the third person had a component of it that would work, that we could create that collaboration that we hadn't thought about until we were sitting there together sharing our ideas. And it's that sharing our ideas that you are so beautiful, Kathleen, about encouraging us to do and then feed into each other to create the bigger picture for us all. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Susan. Yes, so much there, and that you just shared, and it is the power of 1 + 1 = 3, or even more. And I know this is happening in our council specifically. We have 2 council members that are coming together, and they're providing a brand new offer that is so exciting and so interesting. About branding and elevating our image and our representation online. We have Carol Kammerer coming together, who's an expert on LinkedIn. We have Sheila Anderson, who's going to be talking about personal branding. So the combination of their offer together, and this came as a result of our council. Really exciting. Yeah, thank you. Good, thank you. Good. Dr. Diana Pollock, any takeaways that you'd like to share? Daniela Aneva, feedback as well. Love to get your point of view before we complete.
Well, I put in the chat.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Yeah, to me that is the biggest barrier, and sadly, I could be wrong, and you folks can tell me I'm wrong, but I find the HR community made up of very young individuals who may not really appreciate or even know what an experienced former coach, therapist, professor, whatever, has to offer. So how do you get, other than sending them emails or going on a podcast or whatever technological options there are? I don't even think they appreciate the one-on-one coaching. To them, like having emails or Zooms or podcast coaching is the way to go. So my question in capital letters is how to break this barrier.
Great question, Diana, and we are going to answer that question. I'm going to make that a priority for next month's program. And so I have a lot of ideas because I have partnered quite extensively with HR. I have to say HR is one of my strongest groups of allies. And so we're going to bring it. And I also plan to bring in members of HR that belong to various organizations and, kind of get behind the curtain, so to speak, on what are they looking for, what annoys them, how do we rise to the top of coaches, so to speak, and how do we break through that barrier. So
did you agree with some of the things I just said, Kathleen?
Oh, completely, Diana, completely. Yes. Yeah. And I think it's a very complex question that I'm so grateful that you brought up because I've experienced the same kind of barriers as well, and I think to me, part of the bottom line is, Diana, this is so interesting that you bring this up. What I find is the philosophy is just because I can doesn't mean I should, is what HR people, just because they can coach all of their employees and they've taken a coaching course doesn't mean that they really should be doing that. And so
taking a coaching course doesn't make them a coach, sorry to say.
Completely. So HR, we helping them stay in their lane and the partnering aspect of it. And it's a great topic. It's really a great topic. But you're right on the money with us. Yeah. Susan, you're going to jump in. Yeah. Thank you. Great. Thanks for bringing that up, Diana. Thanks.
I'm sorry, Susan, at all. I've been on Zooms for 4 hours and 45 minutes. I need a break. So
we will see you soon, dear.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing everyone again. And I'm very glad a former client let me know about this. So thank you.
Very nice.
Wonderful.
Good. I'll reach out on LinkedIn. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
So
Same here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes.
So I sometimes find that HR doesn't have the budget to really take on bigger things that you would think they would. And they can frequently be directed towards the compliance issues more than the personal growth of the employees and how to create synergy amongst things. They are more of we're just following these rules, and they don't see it as their responsibility. They'll look at that as something that's a training and development or the department responsibility to understand what their team needs more so than HR themselves. And so I think it's how do you create that synergy for them internally in their company to engage with the others that might have the financial controls and the opportunities to provide growth for their team, but no clue as to where to find it.
Right. An incredibly rich program and topic, Susan, right? Thank you. And we so appreciate, you bringing this up. And of course, my gosh, we need to unlock that code and for Dr. Diana Pollock to bring that up as well. So thank you. Good. Excellent. Good.
Thank you. Just wanted to thank you all. It's first time for me here. Nice to meet all of you.
Thank you.
Great first experience. So, and I think all the topics can take quite a long time for us to discuss. There's a lot of topics for us to share. And, coaching is rather lonely profession. So when you have a platform to share, it's always nice. Thank you for organizing this event.
Oh, thank you, Daniela. So grateful, and blessings to you and your family and to all of us and our families, right? And to the work we do. We are, as coaches, consultants, we are helpers. And I also believe that we're light workers. We bring light to the world and we make the lifting lighter. How's that? Through our partnership. So with that, Thank you so much. Oh, what a delight. I'm beyond thrilled. We're just getting going. So more to come, and cannot even imagine how much goodness we're going to create in the world. So thank you for being there. Thank you for showing up today. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Happy
Have a
to.
wonderful rest of the week.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.